goody. I do want to give my 2 cents on the whole Daily Wire versus Steven Crowder debacle, and as usual, I have to be a little different from everybody else, so I want to avoid the lawyer speak bollocks and all of that, and try and come at this from as neutral as I can, both pragmatically and ideologically, because I don't like either of these two, so I have no dog in this fight. To give it TLDR, Stephen implied big tech is in bed with big conservative. There's some potentially shady business practices afoot, and it didn't take the internet long to figure out he was in fact talking about the Daily Wire. And so one of their CEOs, Jeremy Boring, made a video discussing the terms of the contract, a back and forth ensued, and everyone has given their take on the whole affair. Now, not a fan of the Daily Wire, they're far too corporate for my taste. Styx is right, they're missing link media. They're basically becoming the internet's Fox News, millennial neocons. Hell, you can make the case, I think in some ways, Fox is less corporate. Does the Daily Wire have someone as edgy as Tucker or Greg Gutfeld? Not really. Not exactly a fan of Steven Crowder either, because I find his humor verges on teenage cringe. No offense, that's just my take. I'm much more of a razor fist kind of a guy. So, who's right? Is the Daily Wire rather sketchy? Does Crowder have a point? Or does the Daily Wire have a point and Steven overplayed his hand? Or are they both full of it? Who knows? Let's discuss it. So get down to basics. What is the Daily Wire? First and foremost, it is a business, and its interest is making dinero. The thing they value most is making money. Normal business, you create something or provide a service, you get paid for it, invest the money back into the business or another business, etc., etc. The Daily Wire's model, they provide content via the apparatus of tech platforms. Some of their revenue is generated via subscription services, others from advertisements. Advertisers see the Daily Wire, see how many eyeballs they can draw, and say, we will pay you X amount to advertise our product. Obviously, seeing as they are on big tech and use advertisers, they are beholden to the terms of service of these platforms and the advertisers. If the Daily Wire sees a content creator somewhere on YouTube, for example, sees their following and says, hey, you come work for us, draft up a contract or whatever. If they say, hey, you are required to work at such a location, produce X amount of content in a given year, we will provide you with the equipment, the staff, etc., etc. That all costs money, naturally. So for a fixed salary, they are expecting you to provide a fixed amount of content. So you trade some of your freedom as a content creator, so to speak, to be more, let's say, secure and stable because you're earning a reliable income. If you don't work at the standards you are required to, you will be penalized because you are breaching the terms of the contract. This is the pragmatic position. I'm not saying it can't be a hit job or the contract can't suck, just that this is the position of the Daily Wire. They're offering you a ton of money and you're an investment. They naturally want a return on that investment. I'm not defending it, but I understand. Now, here is a funny thing that most people will probably agree with. Do not go into business with your friends, because once you mix in money, oh man, can it sour south really, really quickly. The reverse seems more sustainable. You develop a friendship because you made money together. Although that does only hold water if you're all squaring in the black, because once that derails, then the gloves come out. And with this process, friends involved, business, there's not even money exchanging hands even. Just the content of the contract can ruffle some feathers and kick up some dust, which it happens to have done in this case. Now Steven, whether he is authentically this or not, I don't know, presents himself as in ideological opposition to the structure. He does not trust big tech, he sees the apparatus as a foe. Steven sees where his show is going to be broadcast to, his contract stipulations, and thinks, this is going to duck me cash if any of these platforms hit me for any reason. This is insane. So the way he presents this, these contracts will screw over up-and-coming content creators, and these entities are rather predatory and they're supposed to fight for our side, but really they're in bed with the oligarchy. Big tech is this boogeyman entity for the ride. You can mess around with it up to a point, but once you're in bed with them, you swallow your sellout slut. Steven is coming at this from a much more ideological perspective. And you know the type of people we're talking about here. The people that stay within the lines, that don't want to rock the boat because they're cushy. They may flirt with the boundaries from time to time, but they have no plans of going anywhere near it, never mind trying to push it. Dave Rubin is a good example. Now, Steven sees all of this and thinks, there are far too many strings attached to this. I like to say edgy shit from time to time. This is totally cramping my style. He does not like being told what to do. If he even inadvertently steps over the line here, he gets a dock in pay. And I'm not even mentioning the predatory shit from them owning anything he makes while working for them in perpetuity, which is raw dogging the man blind. Now, from his position, I can understand, because part of the Crowder brand, so to speak, is this more comedic aspect. He is quite grimy, and I mean that in a good way, because the more grimy, unrefined sort of style in our liberal time, please kill me now, denotes a feeling of authenticity. That's why Trump is popular. Oh, that's another point of contention. Crowder is a Trump boy, Daily Wire are neocons. The whole polished corporate presentation to sell this facade of trustworthy, very much a boomer kind of mentality. Frankly, Crowder does not fit that mold at all. Why the Daily Wire would try and bring him in, I don't understand, frankly, because placing this many shackles on him and trying to sell a muzzled Crowder is a waste of everyone's time and money. Anyone who's watched those two places knows Crowder would not gel well with the Daily Wire. Now, the last thing I'll mention is this recording.
They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They can be wage slaves for a little bit. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
God bless the talk boy. Those things are worth like $5,000 now. It's an expensive gag.
Now, I have some mixed feelings on this, mainly because I have noticed humans tend to be the ends justify the means by default. It seems as long as the ends is something juicy and worthwhile, people are okay with it. People don't seem to mind the stuff that James O'Keefe does, the exposés, because the information is good, it's rather reliable. He's a journalist, but compared to what Crowder did, I don't care if they're friends, you're splitting hairs at this point, let's be honest. I suppose the best way to measure the stunt is as a gamble. Did it get more people on his side? Seems to have done, actually, so call it a win for Steven in my book. Simple as that. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.